it's Abby. I'm back with another video, and today I will be doing a book review. I haven't done one of these in a while, so I'm really excited. I don't really like reviewing books when I don't have that much to say. Like, I always have a lot to say about books, and I say them in my wrap-ups and things like that, but like when I do a review, I want to be like passionately like obsessed with the book and have like a reason to be doing the book review, like something that I feel like is important to talk about involving the book. So the book that I'll be talking about is Georgia Peaches and Other Forbidden Fruit by J. Robin Brown. I picked up this book recently, and it's one of the only books I've read in quite a while, and I'm really glad that I did. So I think I rated this book on Goodreads a 4 out of 5 stars, and I would say it's a pretty accurate representation of how I felt about the book, because obviously I had some issues with it, but overall I think this is like a really important book, and I'll get into that, but first I'll explain what the book is about. So the book follows a girl named Joanna, and she is in her senior year of high school, and she lives in Atlanta, Georgia, and she is a lesbian, or is she bisexual? I'm like 99.9% sure she's a lesbian. If I'm incorrect, I apologize. If she mentions it in the very beginning, so I can't really remember. And so it's her best friend, and she runs in this very LGBT, GSA type of circle. So super accepting, super open, no issues coming out, no issues with acceptance, and all of that kind of stuff. However, she is Christian, and her dad is a pastor. He runs a radio service, or a radio ministry or something like that, and so he gets on the radio every Sunday and speaks and runs a ministry that way. So she comes out to her dad. He doesn't have any issues with it because he's very accepting and that kind of thing. But then her birth mother passed away when she was younger, and then she had another mom, and then her dad remarried again to the third wife, and so she's got a little bit of conflict with the third wife being a little bit younger than her dad and that kind of thing. So her new stepmom wants them to move to some other town in Georgia, about 3 hours, I think, south of Atlanta, more rural, more conservative, and that kind of thing. And you can see where that becomes an issue. So then her dad and her stepmom ask her to be closeted and pretend to be straight for the remainder of her senior year at this new high school, just to make things easier for her new family, who are not necessarily very accepting of LGBT people, and the community they'll be living in, which is very conservative, very traditional Christian. So it's kind of the synopsis of the book, and where we take off from the beginning is her having this discussion with her dad of moving and having to be closeted after spending pretty much her entire knowledge of being gay, like, completely open about it. So that's a huge problem to begin with. But here are the things that I loved about this book. So not only does it mix religion and LGBT themes, which I've never at all read of or heard of or anything like that. If you've heard of that at all in YA literature, let me know, because I have not at all heard of that. I just thought that was just the coolest thing, especially being part of the faith and LGBT. Like, you just, in my own personal life, you just don't read that or hear about that or really learn about that at all, and I think that's really important. A lot of LGBT plus QIA youth don't know that you can be religious and gay, that, you know, that there are people who are open and affirming, and there are churches that are open and affirming, and so I think it's really interesting that someone took that and meshed it all together. So I really loved that aspect of it. It's not pushy, it doesn't shove the Christianity down your throat or anything like that. I think it talks about it in a very natural way, where it's clearly just part of the characters' everyday lives, and some of the characters' not everyday lives, that kind of thing, not a big deal. They don't really talk about it. She does pray throughout the book, but it's in a very cute way, and I think this book was just overall very cute. I wouldn't say it's like the best romance I've read. I'd say the pacing is a little off. I'd say it's a lot of it unrealistic when it comes to some of the things that happen in this book, but the drama is kind of fun. That's kind of what you get when you read a contemporary, is you get like kind of a ridiculous story where like it's just so unrealistic, but it's a cute love story, and that's what you want. And they don't have that for LGBT characters. A lot of the time it's a lot more intense reads, a lot of self-discovery, coming of age. I mean, there was a lot of conflict about not sexuality, but conflict about being out and being closeted, and a lot of conflict about dealing with other people's perspectives of who you are and who you want to be. And what in the world? I don't know what that noise was. But I think that is what is needed in kind of an LGBT read, is just a book about two girls who fall in love and deal with a lot of drama surrounding their relationship, and then ta-da, like it's a normal contemporary. That's it. That's how it rolls. It's a happily ever after, everybody is happy in the end kind of deal, which you don't get most of the time. It's usually this like big coming of age and accepting yourself, and really this was more about the romance and these two girls falling in love even though they're not supposed to. As I was saying, Joanna moves to this small town. She pretends to be closeted. She kind of changes her demeanor. She's kind of got this more like edgy look with like flannels and black and short hair, and so she kind of changes up her look, tries to fit in with the like cool girls, and she ends up getting in with these popular girls, but of course things fall into place and she meets a girl and there are these vibes she's getting and yada yada yada. There's a lot of other things that go into it. It is a long read for a contemporary. I think it could have been a little bit shorter or just less, I don't know, the pacing was a little bit off where it'd go really slow, then really, really fast, and then really slow, and then really, really fast. But the reason I wanted to do a review on it is because I wanted people to know how important it is to have an LGBT read that isn't end in somebody dying, or like an LGBT TV show that doesn't end in somebody dying. I just think that's so frequent and so insane. And I've read an article, oh gosh, I can't remember what it was called, but it was about the amount of LGBT characters that have died on national television just in the last year, and comparing that to the amount of just like how ridiculous that is. Like, why, when only about like 5% of the people on the television are LGBT and like half of them die. I'll find the article with the actual statistics and not just me blubbering and put it in the description box thing down there, because I thought it was really, really interesting. It was a while ago, so I don't really remember much of it, but it was really interesting, and I thought it had a lot of commentary on representation in TV shows. I think it was about TV shows and movies. Some other things that I thought could have been slightly better, in my opinion, is her like reflection could have been a little, like, it was like an edge, but like she almost stepped over the, like, she was teetering between being like deep enough and like not deep enough. Like, it was not quite enough self-exploration for me, you know, like it wasn't quite enough. So I felt like she could have expanded on that a little bit more. But other than that, like, I really, really, really loved it. I thought the characters were really cute. The romance was very cute. I thought the romance was more dynamic than some other romances I've read, but that wasn't as much of an issue for me. And also, like, the title is just so cute. I can't get over that either. I really enjoyed reading this. I highly recommend it, especially if you're looking for something fluffy and light and romantic. Despite it being LGBT, despite the religion aspect, it is very cute and fun, and I really, really enjoyed that aspect of it. I think it's really what I needed to pull me out of a slump, was to get wrapped into this dramatic story. Your typical teenage love story, which is what I really, really loved about it. So if you liked this book talk or review, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video.